Chapter 18. David's Triumphs. After this it happened that David struck the Philistines and subdued them, and took Gath and its towns out of the hand of the Philistines. He struck Moab, and the Moabites became servants to David, and brought tribute. David struck Hadadezer, king of Zobah, to Hamath, as he went to establish his dominion by the river Euphrates. David took from him 1,000 chariots, and 7,000 horsemen, and 20,000 footmen. And David hamstrung all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. When the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David struck of the Syrians 22,000 men. Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David, and brought tribute. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer, and brought them to Jerusalem. From Tibhath and from Kun, cities of Hadadezer, David took very much brass, with which Solomon made the bronze sea, and the pillars, and the vessels of brass. When Tou, king of Hamath, heard that David had struck all the army of Hadadezer, king of Zobah, he sent Hadoram, his son, to King David, to greet him, and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and struck him. For Hadadezer had wars with Tou. And he had with him all kinds of vessels of gold, and silver, and brass. These also did King David dedicate to Yahweh, with the silver and the gold that he carried away from all the nations, from Edom, and from Moab, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, and from Amalek. Moreover, Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, struck of the Edomites in the valley of Salt 18,000. He put garrisons in Edom, and all the Edomites became servants to David. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. David's officers. David reigned over all Israel, and he executed justice and righteousness to all his people. Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was over the army, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was recorder, and Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Abimelech, the son of Abiathar, were priests, and Shapha was scribe, and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and the sons of David were chief about the king. Chapter 19. David's messengers disgraced. It happened after this that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his place. David said, I will show kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me. So David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon, to Hanun, to comfort him. But the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanun, Do you think that David honors your father, in that he has sent comforters to you? Haven't his servants come to you to search, to overthrow, and to spy out the land? So Hanun took David's servants, and shaved them, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. Then there went certain persons, and told David how the men were served. He sent to meet them, for the men were greatly ashamed. The king said, Stay at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return. When the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves odious to David, Hanun and the children of Ammon sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire them chariots and horsemen out of Mesopotamia, and out of Aram-Maacah, and out of Zobah. So they hired for themselves 32,000 chariots. And the king of Maacah and his people, who came and encamped before Medeba. The children of Ammon gathered themselves together from their cities, and came to battle. When David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the army of the mighty men. The children of Ammon came out, and put the battle in array at the gate of the city. And the kings who had come were by themselves in the field. David defeats Ammon and Syria. Now when Joab saw that the battle was set against him before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel, and put them in array against the Syrians. The rest of the people he committed into the hand of Abishai his brother, and they put themselves in array against the children of Ammon. He said, "If the Syrians are too strong for me, then you are to help me. But if the children of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will help you. Be courageous, and let us be strong for our people, and for the cities of our God. May Yahweh do that which seems good to him." So Joab and the people who were with him drew near before the Syrians to the battle, and they fled before him. When the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians had fled, they likewise fled before Abishai his brother, and entered into the city. Then Joab came to Jerusalem. When the Syrians saw that they were defeated by Israel, they sent messengers, and drew forth the Syrians who were beyond the river, with Shophak, the captain of the army of Hadadezer, at their head. It was told David, and he gathered all Israel together, and passed over the Jordan, and came on them, and set the battle in array against them. So when David had put the battle in array against the Syrians, they fought with him. The Syrians fled before Israel, and David killed of the Syrians the men of 7,000 chariots, and 40,000 footmen, and killed Shophak, the captain of the army. When the servants of Hadadezer saw that they were defeated by Israel, they made peace with David, and served him. Neither would the Syrians help the children of Ammon any more. Chapter 20. The Plunder of Rabbah. It happened at the time of the return of the year, at the time when kings go out to battle, that Joab led forth the army, and wasted the country of the children of Ammon, and came and besieged Rabbah. But David stayed at Jerusalem. Joab struck Rabbah, and overthrew it. David took the crown of their king from off his head, and found it to weigh a talent of gold, and there were precious stones in it, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city, exceeding much. He brought forth the people who were therein, and cut them with saws, and with iron picks, and with axes. David did so to all the cities of the children of Ammon. David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. Philistine giants slain. It happened after this that there arose war at Gezer with the Philistines. Then Sibbecai the Hushathite killed Sippai of the sons of the giant, and they were subdued. There was again war with the Philistines, and Elhanan the son of Jair killed Lahmi, the brother of Goliath the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. There was again war at Gath, where there was a man of great stature, whose fingers and toes were 24, 6 on each hand, and 6 on each foot. And he also was born to the giant. When he defied Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, killed him. These were born to the giant in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. Chapter 21. David forces a census. Satan stood up against Israel and moved David to number Israel. David said to Joab and to the princes of the people, "Go, number Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, and bring me word that I may know the sum of them." Joab said, "May Yahweh make his people 100 times as many as they are. But, my lord the king, aren't they all my lord's servants? Why does my lord require this thing? Why will he be a cause of guilt to Israel?" Nevertheless, the king's word prevailed against Joab. Therefore Joab departed, and went throughout all Israel, and came to Jerusalem. Joab gave up the sum of the numbering of the people to David. All those of Israel were 1,100,000 men who drew sword, and in Judah were 470,000 men who drew sword. But he didn't count Levi and Benjamin among them, for the king's word was abominable to Joab. Judgment for David's sin. God was displeased with this thing. Therefore he struck Israel. David said to God, "I have sinned greatly, in that I have done this thing. But now, put away, I beg you, the iniquity of your servant, for I have done very foolishly." Yahweh spoke to Gad, David's seer, saying,
"Go and speak to David, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I offer you 3 things. Choose one of them, that I may do it to you."
So Gad came to David and said to him, "Thus says Yahweh, take your choice, either 3 years of famine, or 3 months to be consumed before your foes, while the sword of your enemies overtakes you, or else 3 days the sword of Yahweh, even pestilence in the land, and the angel of Yahweh destroying throughout all the borders of Israel. Now therefore, consider what answer I shall return to him who sent me." David said to Gad, "I am in distress. Let me fall, I pray, into the hand of Yahweh, for his mercies are very great. Let me not fall into the hand of man." David's repentance spares Jerusalem. So Yahweh sent a pestilence on Israel, and 70,000 men of Israel fell. God sent an angel to Jerusalem to destroy it. As he was about to destroy, Yahweh saw, and he relented of the disaster, and said to the destroying angel,
"It is enough. Now stay your hand."
The angel of Yahweh was standing by the threshing floor of Ornan, the Jebusite. David lifted up his eyes and saw the angel of Yahweh standing between earth and the sky, having a drawn sword in his hand stretched out over Jerusalem. Then David and the elders, clothed in sackcloth, fell on their faces. David said to God, "Isn't it I who commanded the people to be numbered? It is even I who have sinned and done very wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Please let your hand, O Yahweh my God, be against me and against my father's house, but not against your people, that they should be plagued." David builds an altar. Then the angel of Yahweh commanded Gad to tell David that David should go up and raise an altar to Yahweh in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. David went up at the saying of Gad, which he spoke in the name of Yahweh. Ornan turned back and saw the angel, and his 4 sons who were with him hid themselves. Now Ornan was threshing wheat. As David came to Ornan, Ornan looked and saw David, and went out of the threshing floor, and bowed himself to David, with his face to the ground. Then David said to Ornan, "Give me the place of this threshing floor, that I may build thereon an altar to Yahweh. You shall sell it to me for the full price, that the plague may be stopped from afflicting the people." Ornan said to David, "Take it for yourself, and let my lord the king do that which is good in his eyes. Behold, I give the oxen for burnt offerings, and the threshing instruments for wood, and the wheat for the meal offering. I give it all." King David said to Ornan, "No, but I will most certainly buy it for the full price. For I will not take that which is yours for Yahweh, nor offer a burnt offering without cost." So David gave to Ornan 600 shekels of gold by weight for the place. David built an altar to Yahweh there, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings, and called on Yahweh. And he answered him from the sky by fire on the altar of burnt offering. Yahweh commanded the angel, and he put up his sword again into its sheath. At that time, when David saw that Yahweh had answered him in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite, then he sacrificed there. For the tabernacle of Yahweh, which Moses made in the wilderness, and the altar of burnt offering, were at that time in the high place at Gibeon. But David couldn't go before it to inquire of God, for he was afraid because of the sword of the angel of Yahweh. Chapter 22. David's preparations for the temple. Then David said, "This is the house of Yahweh God, and this is the altar of burnt offering for Israel." David gave orders to gather together the foreigners who were in the land of Israel, and he set masons to cut worked stones to build the house of God. David prepared iron in abundance for the nails, for the doors of the gates, and for the couplings, and brass in abundance without weight, and cedar trees without number. For the Sidonians and they of Tyre brought cedar trees in abundance to David. David said, "Solomon, my son, is young and tender, and the house that is to be built for Yahweh must be exceedingly magnificent, of fame and of glory throughout all countries. I will therefore make preparation for it." So David prepared abundantly before his death. Solomon anointed to build the temple. Then he called for Solomon his son, and commanded him to build a house for Yahweh, the God of Israel. David said to Solomon his son, "As for me, it was in my heart to build a house to the name of Yahweh my God. But the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, You have shed blood abundantly, and have made great wars. You shall not build a house to my name, because you have shed much blood on the earth in my sight. Behold, a son shall be born to you, who shall be a man of rest. I will give him rest from all his enemies all around, for his name shall be Solomon, and I will give peace and quietness to Israel in his days. He shall build a house for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father. And I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Israel forever. Now, my son, may Yahweh be with you and prosper you, and build the house of Yahweh your God, as he has spoken concerning you. May Yahweh give you discretion and understanding, and put you in charge of Israel, that so you may keep the law of Yahweh your God. Then you will prosper, if you observe to do the statutes and the ordinances which Yahweh gave Moses concerning Israel. Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid, neither be dismayed. Now, behold, in my affliction I have prepared for the house of Yahweh 100,000 talents of gold, 1,000,000 talents of silver, and brass and iron without weight, for it is in abundance. I have also prepared timber and stone, and you may add to them. There are also workmen with you in abundance, cutters and workers of stone and timber, and all kinds of men who are skillful in every kind of work, of the gold, the silver, and the brass, and the iron. There is no number. Arise and be doing, and may Yahweh be with you. David also commanded all the princes of Israel to help Solomon his son, saying, Isn't Yahweh your God with you? Hasn't he given you rest on every side? For he has delivered the inhabitants of the land into my hand, and the land is subdued before Yahweh and before his people. Now set your heart and your soul to seek after Yahweh your God. Arise, therefore, and build the sanctuary of Yahweh God, to bring the ark of the covenant of Yahweh and the holy vessels of God into the house that is to be built to the name of Yahweh. Chapter 23. Solomon reigns. Now David was old and full of days, and he made Solomon his son king over Israel. He gathered together all the princes of Israel, with the priests and the Levites. Divisions of the Levites. The Levites were numbered from 30 years old and upward, and their number by their polls, man by man, was 38,000. David said, Of these, 24,000 were to oversee the work of the house of Yahweh. 6,000 were officers and judges, 4,000 were doorkeepers, and 4,000 praised Yahweh with the instruments which I made for giving praise. David divided them into divisions according to the sons of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The Gershonites. Of the Gershonites, Ladan and Shimei. The sons of Ladan, Jehiel the chief, and Zetham, and Joel, 3. The sons of Shimei, Shelomith, and Haziel, and Haran, 3. These were the heads of the fathers' houses of Ladan. The sons of Shimei, Jahath, Zina, Jeush, and Beriah. These 4 were the sons of Shimei. Jahath was the chief, and Ziza the second. But Jeush and Beriah didn't have many sons. Therefore they became a father's house in one reckoning. The Kohathites. The sons of Kohath, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel, 4. The sons of Amram, Aaron and Moses. And Aaron was separated, that he should sanctify the most holy things, he and his sons, forever, to burn incense before Yahweh, to minister to him, and to bless in his name forever. But as for Moses, the man of God, his sons were named among the tribe of Levi. The sons of Moses, Gershom and Eliezer. The sons of Gershom, Shebuel the chief. The sons of Eliezer were Rehabiah the chief. And Eliezer had no other sons, but the sons of Rehabiah were very many. The sons of Izhar, Shelomith the chief. The sons of Hebron, Jeriah the chief, Amariah the second, Jehaziel the third, and Jekameam the fourth. The sons of Uzziel, Micah the chief, and Ishiah the second. The Merarites. The sons of Merari, Mahli and Mushi. The sons of Malai, Eleazar, and Kish. Eleazar died and had no sons, but daughters only. And their brothers, the sons of Kish, took them to wife. The sons of Mushai, Malai, and Eder, and Jeremoth, 3. Levite duties revised. These were the sons of Levi after their fathers' houses, even the heads of the fathers' houses of those who were counted individually, in the number of names by their polls, who did the work for the service of the house of Yahweh, from 20 years old and upward. For David said, Yahweh, the God of Israel, has given rest to his people, and he dwells in Jerusalem forever. Also, the Levites will no longer need to carry the tabernacle and all its vessels for its service. For by the last words of David, the sons of Levi were numbered, from 20 years old and upward. For their office was to wait on the sons of Aaron for the service of the house of Yahweh, in the courts, and in the rooms, and in the purifying of all holy things, even the work of the service of the house of God, for the showbread also, and for the fine flour for a meal offering, whether of unleavened wafers, or of that which is baked in the pan, or of that which is soaked, and for all kinds of measure and size, and to stand every morning to thank and praise Yahweh, and likewise in the evening, and to offer all burnt offerings to Yahweh, on the Sabbaths, on the new moons, and on the set feasts, in number according to the ordinance concerning them, continually before Yahweh. And that they should keep the duty of the tent of meeting, and the duty of the holy place, and the duty of the sons of Aaron their brothers, for the service of the house of Yahweh.